I am delighted to introduce our speaker. So glad to see you walk into the building. And let me read your bio. I just want to read it because it's beautiful. Rehabilitation through the arts. Charles Moore is going to speak to us today. Charles Moore is the first Rehabilitation Through the Arts alumni to be hired to work full-time for the organization. He is currently the Director of Programs and Operations. He oversees all programs, planning, and management in all facilities where RTA operates. He audits workshops, coordinates alumni projects, and manages the organization's steering committees. He holds a bachelor degree in human services from Mercy University and a master's in professional studies from New York Theological Seminary. So we are thrilled to have you come here and to speak to us, Charles. Welcome. Question to you.
Yes.
Do you want this, or would you feel more comfortable?
Oh, I've never used one of those, so I'll use that. My pastor used that, so I haven't got there.
Adjusted, so
Yes,
to your
I
height.
haven't got there yet.
Beautiful.
Wow. So good morning, and it's great to be back here again. The sermon has already been done. I'm sitting in the back, and you guys have just really brought me into spirit and praise and worship. That the sorrows was just beautiful, and you know, I'm a spiritual person today, so that was just beautiful to bring me into. Yes. Let me just pull it up just a little bit. Got you. Got to make sure. Yeah, I was gonna. Thanks, Elizabeth. Yeah, just pull it up a little closer. Sorry. Yes. Can you guys hear me out there in Zoom world? Zoom world people, I'll say. So again, it is truly an honor to have been invited back here again to present at the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Rock Tavern. And I must say, it was truly, it's an hour and a half to get here, but it was a beautiful ride. I just love the fall weather and the watching the leaves change and everything. And of course, we just adjusted the mic, so I know we're on Zoom today. So we welcome all of our Zoom listeners to be with us today. Thank you for tuning in. And Jay, once again, thank you for inviting me to be here. How's everyone this morning? You guys sound wonderful. Everybody good? Good, good. Little son. But I will say to that point, it is just a blessing to be alive to see another day, because some folks are not with us today, as she said about the firefighter. So it is truly a best blessing based on everything that we have been through. There is much going on in this world today. You know, we have sickness, homelessness, the integration problem, and of course, the results of last week's election, whichever way you want to look at it. But we will be going through a new time, a new transition the next 4 years. And I just want to say thank you, because I come to you from the profession of corrections. So when the lady gave praise to those who are incarcerated, in the stock market going up for private prisons and things like that, that is truly a blessing. And I also wanted to point out that RTA, Rehabilitation Through the Arts, we are in our 11th facility. I'll get into that a little bit more, but I wanted to say that in California, that's where we are now, we're at one of the fire camps. Do you know that majority of all the wildfires are put out by inmates in California correctional facilities? So when we talk about lives being lost of this firefighter up here, we can just imagine that over time, as long as they've been doing it. I'm sure that a resident has lost their life in the correctional setting in California. But the question is, was that person mentioned or mourned? Because a lot of times when we put people in incarceration, we forget about them. And that is so sad. So I was touched today to hear you, talk about the industrial complex that is really taken over. But for those of you who do not know me, I will just add to that wonderful introduction that I was given. My name is Charles Moore, and I am the Director of Programs and Operations for a wonderful program called Rehabilitation Through the Arts. And I will point out that I received a promotion since my last time that I was here. Thank you. Last time I was here, I was just in charge of operations, and that's making sure everything runs right in the office and stuff like that. And then our program director went on to another place, and I told my executive director, I says, you know what, I'll do both. Because I have been with RTA now for 20 years, and to qualify that, before I became director of programs and operations, I was also a participant of the program. I served 17 years of incarceration myself. I went to prison at the age of 34 without a high school diploma or GED, but I was blessed and I did a lot of hard work and I was able to leave with a master's degree. So I didn't just sit around and talk. So RTA, my mission, my message to you today is just going to be simple and brief on the power of the creative arts and hope. Does anybody need a little hope today? A hope for a better tomorrow, a hope for our children, a hope that we could just see another day. So hope can be defined for people in many different ways. So I would just like to talk a little bit today about hope. So Rehabilitation Through the Arts is a nonprofit organization that was founded in 1996 in all places, Sing Sing Correctional Facility. Our mission is to help those incarcerated develop critical life skills through the use of creative arts. We model an approach to the justice system that is based on human dignity rather than punishment. I like to repeat that last part, that's human dignity rather than punishment. And I feel that our mission is closely aligned with UUCRT's first and second principles. Can we show the first video, please, Unlocked? A little bit about our program.
I'm born and raised in Queens.
I come from a working class in Queens.
I grew up on Long Island, and I would say that I had a normal childhood.
My mother, she worked at Cross County Hospital, and she used to put in very long hours. And so it was just me and my brother's home, and I became the father, big brother, and providing for my brothers became like a everyday thing.
I drifted towards the streets.
I became a major drug trafficker at a very young age.
I was having some real family issues, children issues, work issues, and had an emotional breakdown and committed a serious crime.
I got incarcerated when I was very young. I was 17 years old.
Got 7 years flat for manslaughter in the first degree.
Going to a maximum security setting, you really prepare yourself for the worst.
It's like, stand over there, don't move, don't look at me, put your hands on the wall. So it's like a big place where everyone's pretty confused but robotic at the same time.
My first thoughts was, my God, how am I going to do this? I was in Sing Sing Correctional Facility. I'm working out. And one of the guys, he says, listen, we're talking about putting together a theater program. I looked at him like, theater? We are in a maximum security facility, and you want me to run around and type something about to be or not to be? I said, bro, stop playing with me.
At first, I was a little skeptical about it because they was asking me to do things that I wasn't comfortable doing, like taking the mask off my face, and being me. I presented that hard front. So nah, I don't want to walk around acting silly, and I think everybody else is doing it is foolishness. And then one day I found myself acting silly and enjoying it.
I remember first seeing a production in a chapel inside of Sing Sing Correctional Facility.
I'm confused. How would you know where the men's hall was if it's not in this book?
As I'm sitting there, I'm starting to recognize people. I said, hold on, I see this guy in the gym. I see this guy in the yard. These are prisoners up here.
I said to myself that I have to be a part of this program.
Did you assault Santiago with the intent of killing him? No, sir.
When they said that I'm in their program, I literally started crying because I'm like, I think that this is gonna save my life.
My son was maybe 7 at the time, and he had this love for the Scarecrow. So when the opportunity came to do the production of The Wizard of Oz, I said, I have to try out for the Scarecrow. That production was the first production that the department allowed families to see. And it was the first time my son saw me on stage. He loved it so much. His footage of him dancing along when I'm dancing.
For me, it was like, all right, you have to put on a show, okay, in front of all of these people, and you have to remember that your daughter is watching.
Then could you help me get back home again? You got your silver slippers. They'll get you home in no time.
I just knew that I was gonna put on a play, it was gonna be great, and I was gonna have a nice time. But when we sung the song Home, it hit me because she'll be leaving there without me. And I didn't know how to handle that yet because I didn't think that far through. And RTA helped me get through the hardest and the most difficult time in prison, period.
Some of the things that you learn from RTA that really help you survive in prison is the communication skills, to be able to talk, to be able to express yourself. Because before I really got my vocabulary up, it seems like I only knew maybe 600 or 700 words, most. And once those run out, the next step is violence. But once I got involved, I'm able to express exactly what I'm saying. And I'm able to hear exactly what you're saying.
And I noticed that I was getting in less arguments, less disagreements. I wasn't getting so frustrated anymore. Learning how to channel my energy and motivate myself. And I began working with people I never imagined I'll be side by side working with.
For the first time in many people's life, including my own, we see and we act in a way that allows us to leave who we are behind, and we take on a role. When you become that new person, then you can understand a little bit about how you might have hurt others and how they felt. And that's a real awakening.
90% of the people that's in prison are coming home. They're gonna come home. They're gonna be standing next to you in the grocery aisle. They're gonna be standing next to you in the barber shop, car wash. They're gonna be on the train with you, on the bus. How do you want them to be?
I can do this. Like, I can show people how I feel through art.
Thank you. That's just this film is actually 17 minutes long. That's just the short version of it to give you a little taste. And one of the things that we do strive to do in RTA is bring the voice of the incarcerated out through videos like this, and we have other footage of different things, and I have a special treat for you at the end. But RTA, as I said, we were founded in 1996 in Sing Sing Correctional Facility. And our founder, Catherine Volkins, just went in, and she was there for graduation with her husband because her husband is a professor for one of the higher education programs, and she was just sitting there waiting for the ceremony to start. And she asked one of the guys who was graduating that day, "Do you guys have any theater here?" And he said, "No, but we would like to because we're writing plays and stuff like that, but we have no way to put them on." And so Catherine said, "Oh, let me see." She comes from a business background, and to this day, she still doesn't know why she asked that question. But anyway, she put a proposal together, and she presented it to the Department of Corrections. They said, "Okay, fine, you want to come in, come in." And 28 years later, we're located in 10 correctional facilities in 2 states. And it's just amazing the transformative power of the arts. When I went to prison at the age of 34, I didn't know how I was going to do, just like some of my peers that was depicted in the video. You don't know how you're going to get through this time. I'm not a person that call myself a gangster or a thug or anything like that. I just made a bad decision and ended up getting sentenced to 17 years. So we know that when you do things wrong, there's consequences. We know that there are laws out there to govern this country. It's not like there's a surprise. So, if you run a red light, you're going to get a ticket. So if you go past the speed limit, you're going to get a ticket and a big fine. So there's consequences for every action. And I am an advocate, even after doing 17 years, to say that prisons are needed because people are out doing things that they shouldn't be doing, and there are consequences to be paid for your actions. But what should we do while we have these people in prison? We don't want just people in prison walking the yard like cattle and stuff like that. You need to have positive programming like RTA and higher education to help people change their thought process, change their behavior, so that when they come out, they'll be better tax-paying citizens and able to make a lot of decisions. And one of the things, since I've been involved in corrections as a participant and now as an employee of RTA, is I think a lot of time needs to be spent more on what causes people to get incarcerated. Especially at a large number. If you look at the backstory, there's a lot of people, as Clarence was saying, that, his mom was working one job. Most African Americans and brown skinned folks come from a one-parent household and that parent is probably on drugs or alcohol. So what is it that person has to go through to become an adult? So I know that I lost my mom's at the age of 3 years old. I don't know who my father is, so I understand that's a ticket. I was raised by my uncle and aunt, but the love of a parent was not there for me. I never once said the word mom that I can remember. I know what the word means today, but as growing up, I never was able, that I remember running into my mom's arms. I never had the opportunity to say father because on my birth certificate, unfortunately, it says father unknown. So, those are the things that some people incarcerated have to deal with, and you wonder what led up to that. But that's not why we're here today. We're here to talk about hope. So when I was inside of Sing Sing Correctional Facility, after I got my GED, after I heard about the theater program, I joined. And it was there that I began to get my self-esteem back. It was there that I began to really get a sense of hope. Like the young lady said in the video, I can do this. I can make it through here, but I'm going to make it through here a better person. So when I was incarcerated, what led me to be incarcerated is that I was filled with a whole bunch of anger. I was addicted to drugs. I was an alcoholic, and I made some poor decisions which landed me in prison. And I vowed in county jail that if I make it through this, I will never pick up a drink or another drug again. And I've been clean and sober now for 24 years. And I've been, thank you, I've been involved. It's a decision that is really sticking with me because I'm around liquor and stuff like all the time when we give our galas and stuff like that. We have open bar, we have wine and stuff like that. But I have no desire to do anything. So that's a blessing. And then, my thought process is better now. I want to be someone who gives back to the community as opposed to taking from the community. And it was through RTA that I learned that. The first play that I was in for Rehabilitation Through the Art was called the play Jitney. Jitney is by August Wilson, is about a cab stand. And the cab stand, to get a cab, you have to, you don't do it like in New York City, all you have to do is put your hand out like this. But back then when August Wilson wrote the play, you have to call for a jitney. And my role, because I had a keyboard at the time, was the phone. I had to ring the phone. And the director would come down and she would talk to us and she would say, what is the most important role in the play? And everybody would say, oh, Becker, because he's trying to teach the drivers this. Oh, no, me this. And she said, yes, every role is important. But the most important role in this play is the telephone because it moved the play. And the play, she said that the telephone was actually a character because there was times when it was supposed to ring, ding, and I had to push the button for my phone or my keyboard to ring. Then somebody would pick it up, and she said it serves as a cue line too. And then the person picks up the phone, he says his lines in the phone. So the phone was actually the most important role in the play. And I was like, oh my God, I'm the phone. I'm the star of the show. And get this, I didn't even have to get nervous because the phone was off stage. So I could keep my script and everything and find out, but I was the most important person in the play, which made me say, I have to be at rehearsal today. Oh no, CO, open up the gate, I have to go to rehearsal. So it really changed my whole thought process of being incarcerated for the first time, really feeling needed. Like I felt part of a team because, I would come a little late and everybody's, oh, here he comes. And the applause is just because the CEO opened the gate late. But it just really, really helped my self-esteem. And I was able to do that more. And then from that, I became a stage manager. I became a production manager. And then that's when Catherine Volkins, the founder and executive director at the time, really noticed something in me. She says, wow, you're really good at details. You do everything that you're supposed to do. You might have a job with RTA when you come home. Granted, I still had 10 years to do when she said this. So I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So I thought nothing of it. Fast forward, I go to the parole board. I make my first parole board and I'm like, where's Catherine? So next time I saw Catherine, I said, is that job offer still available? And she says, well, we'll see. So she was able to come in to interview me. I went to the interview, and as we say, the rest is history. Here I am, 20 years I've been with RTA as a participant, and I've been working for the organization now for 9 years. But, going in now, as I said, we're in 11 facilities. I've even had the opportunity to travel out to California to open up our new facility out there. And it's just amazing to me, the power of the arts, because the arts meet you where you are. Like one of the things when we were involved, we had an opportunity to possibly get credits for people who participated in our program to get college credits. And we really thought about it hard and we denied that. Why did we deny it? Because in the arts, you don't have to have a GED or anything to participate in the program. And most people who come to prison, a large percentage, like 53% the last I checked, come to prison without a high school diploma or GED. I was one of them. And if you put another barrier, such as making people have to have a GED in order to be in a classroom that offers the arts, you're still leaving a big portion of the population behind. And one of the things that RTA never wanted to do, because we believe in the human dignity of people, is to be an oppressor. So we wanted our program to be open to everyone who wanted to change their lives. And we denied being a part of accredited programs so that we get people who are struggling with getting their GED, then we challenge them. Okay, if you get your GED, then maybe you can, get this role. They have something to look forward to. And it's really helped. Most of the people who come through RTA go through higher education. And it's just remarkable. Us in Hudson Lincoln, all the higher educational programs, we basically have the same participants. So you come to RTA while you're waiting to get into higher education, or you come to higher education while you're waiting to get in RTA, and we kind of like meet in the middle. So it's been a beautiful partnership. One of the things we have to update this film, because I am so proud to say that as our last report, with more people coming home, RTA's recidivism rate is less than 3% now. So less than 3%, thank you. So less than 3% of the people that go through RTA are returning to prison. So it's through the arts that I was able to get hope and make it through corrections. And it's that same hope that is helping so many other people. Now, one of the beautiful things, and I'm going to close with this and share this with you, that we have a feature film that was made about us, and it's about the friendships that are created while you're inside. But the film actually follows us as we are going to put on a production. How many people have heard of Coleman Domingo? Thank you. So Coleman Domingo stars in the film, and it's just a remarkable film. And it actually was in theaters. It was pulled from the theaters because it was picked up by A20. Let me backtrack. A24 picked the film up. Then we put it into theaters to see what the buzz was going to be like. It was doing so well that it has nominations for Best Film, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor. Clarence Macklin, the guy who talks about people coming home from prison, is going to be in your supermarket and stuff like that. He co-stars next to Coleman Domingo, and he's being possibly nominated for Best Supporting Actor. So the cinematography, when you see it, is incredible. So A24 pulled it out of theaters. It'll be back in theaters in January because that's around the buzz time for the awards, so it'll be fresh. So I think that we may, even if we get nominated, we'll be proud, because it's like to be nominated for, anything, depicting prison, because a lot of times, one of the magic things about the film that we were so impressed about, that when you see the trailer, which I'm going to show you in a second, you'll think that it's like one of those prison movies that it's going to talk about violence and everything. And I credited whoever put that trailer together did a great job, because it makes people want to look and watch it. And then when they see it, it's like, wow, that's what everybody was saying. I never expected this to be like it is, because what it really does, and without giving the film away, it shows the human dignity of those that we incarcerate. So, and it shows the friendship that are built inside of corrections, because we're together for 10, 15, 20, 25 years, and we create a bond. And you'll see that bond when you see the film. So if you don't get an opportunity to see it when it comes back to theaters, it will be streaming after it, but keep your eye out, because if we're nominated, all of you guys here have to watch and say, oh God, Charles's program is nominated for a Best Award. He said it would do so good. So, and I want you to put your vote in so that we'll get it, but it's doing really, really, really well. So, give you a guess. Sing Sing. So right, and it's not a musical, but and it was like, it's amazing, and that's another thing that's going to catch people. The name of the film, Sing Sing, and people are like, oh, they're going to think it's one of those normal prison movies. So, but it's not. It's really, really a well done thing. So, I just want people to, I'll leave you with the message of hope. When people are incarcerated, they do lose all hope. It's through positive programming such as rehabilitation through the arts, higher education, and the other thing that I will say that brings people incarcerated hope is for people believing in them and not judging them, and when they come home, just giving them a second chance. Thank you. You could show Unlock Me, Sing Sing.